Naoya Inoue absolutely dominates Alan Picasso in 12 rounds in Saudi Arabia. What a performance. What a beautiful display of boxing performance. Look, it is absolutely incredible how Inoue keeps performing at this level time and time again. Pound for pound fighter, incredible fighter, up there pound for pound with the likes of Alexander Usyk and Terence Crawford. And this fight shows that, because Alan Picasso is no pushover. He's a very good fighter. He's a smart guy. You know, he's got the longer reach. And to see the way Inoue nullified all of his advantages is just incredible. And, you know, you just have to see this fight to see the level of boxing that is displayed for you to appreciate the art and the craft of boxing. Look, what set Inoue apart in this fight from Alan Picasso was just his boxing IQ, his ring IQ, and his ability to nullify everything that Alan Picasso had in his toolbox. It was just incredible. Footwork was amazing. His distance control was just incredible. I mean, for a guy shorter than Alan Picasso, how does he, you know, step in range and out of range within the same movement to land some really incredible shots? It's just amazing to see. His head movement was just out of this world. His boxing IQ, his ring generalship, his footwork, as I mentioned, was just incredible. And it was just a dominant performance. Alan Picasso did his best. You know, he was landing some really good shots to the head. He was landing some really left hooks as well. But Inoue just looked to be the more dominant fighter. That the fighter that, you know, knew what he was doing. It felt like Inoue was 2 steps ahead of Alan Picasso. That's just how it felt. It felt like he knew what Alan Picasso was going to do before Picasso did it. And that's the way the fight went. Look, it just shows that there's levels to boxing. And of course, you have a very good fighter in Picasso, but Inoue is just elite level. And, you know, it was clear to see. Alexander Usyk was at ringside to just watch this fight and really witness something really incredible. I know that on this channel, you know, we don't talk a lot about the lower weight division, in the bantamweight, the lightweight, and those sort of division, but there's some really good fighters there. There's some incredible fighters there. And Inoue is definitely a pound for pound fighter, and he's down there, you know, in that division, shaking and baking things and making things happen. So look, incredible performance from him. The background of this fight was a fight between Inoue and Nakatani, which is what people are expecting to happen next in 2026. But of course, Inoue had to get the job done against Alan Picasso, and Nakatani had to get the job done against Hernandez, which it was a bit controversial, but he got the job done. Like, it was controversial. People that watched that fight would know that Hernandez actually had a chance of winning that fight. And the judges probably had, you know, edged it towards Nakatani because of the fighter he is. But, you know, there is a bit more contention with that fight. But Inoue got the job done. Nakatani got the job done. And now I think all eyes are on what is to happen next year in 2026 in Japan between Nakatani versus Inoue. That's going to be an absolutely massive fight. Especially, you know, within the Asian market. I feel like boxing, you know, have not cracked the code yet when it comes to the Asian market. I know that the UK, the US, now Saudi Arabia is becoming a major player in boxing. But the Asian market is there to be taken over. And I feel like that is where boxing probably is heading towards, you know, to the Asian market, because it is massive. And I've always wondered why someone like Zhile Zhang never had the opportunity to really, you know, expand himself in that region, because the Asian market is just massive, right? And Zhile Zhang should have had a Anthony Joshua fight in China, right? That would do incredible numbers. That would have been a fight that would have captured the imagination of boxing fans in Asia. And that fight never happened. So I think there's a lot of potential in the Asian market. And I saw Eddie Hearn, who was part of the promotion of this fight. So hopefully there's a lot more fights in the Asian market, and Nakatani versus Inoue could be that fight that could open, you know, the market wide open for a lot more boxing to take place in Japan, in China, in all these places. I think it would be incredible to bring boxing to the forefront in these places. But look, Inoue versus Nakatani is something that we're looking forward to. But credit to Inoue for doing the job, for beating Alan Picasso in 12 rounds. Look, the punch stats says everything about this dominant performance from Inoue. Look, Inoue landed 158 punches more than Picasso. So Inoue landed 161 in jabs. He also landed 167 to 107 in power punches. And then he landed 98 to 66 in body shots as well. A dominant performance. Just, you can't make a case for Alan Picasso winning this fight. Although he was competitive in certain rounds, it just, wasn't good enough to beat someone like Inoue, who had the head movement, the footwork, the boxing IQ, the ring generalship, the power punches. He just dominated every aspect of the fight. Like, really dominated every aspect of the fight. And that's what we want to see. Sometimes you don't get the knockout win. Sometimes you don't get the knockdown in a fight. But, people like myself, and I believe a lot more boxing fans really enjoy, seeing the art of boxing on display, hit and not be hit, and really show some really good skill. So, it was great to see Inoue dominate his opponent. And as I said, we're looking forward to the Nakatani fight in Japan in 2026. That'll be a blockbuster. That'll be an incredible fight. Get in the comment section and let me know what you think about Inoue versus Alan Picasso. What was your prediction before this fight, and how did you thought this fight went? Did you thought that Alan Picasso could pull off the upset, or did you thought it was always going to be Inoue dominant performance? Get in the comment section and let me know.